not thinking about it now, but us as fans are. Like, this is legacies on the line whenever they play, which just makes it that much better every year.
Like you said, just makes the Club World Cup inclusion so much worse. I haven't even heard about the Neymar rumor. That's wild that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
I saw
mean,
the Santos thing.
Is it Al Hilal? No,
Al Hilal. Yeah.
Okay, I always get them wrong. I always get them mixed up because it's all kind of this.
It's all Al's.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of Al's over there. Like, literally.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast, episode number 44, I believe, here on this November 15th of 2024. Here pretty soon, we're going to be in 2025, which is absolutely wild. But we are here with yet another episode. Got the pretty normal look at a couple sports here. We got, obviously, NFL football. Got a little bit of soccer over the pond, as we like to say. And then we got actually some college basketball, a little bit more than NBA. Not too much happening in the NBA right now, but Fezzy Boy will take us through that when we cross that bridge a little bit later. But what's new with us? I know we got a little bit of a fight going on right now, not between us, but a little bit of a celebrity fight, I guess you could say. Are you watching that a little bit later, Fezzy? What we got?
I'm definitely gonna have that on, man. Dude, I want Tyson to put Jake Paul down, dude. I need it to happen. We want it to happen to make everything right in the world. Let's just say it'll be a good November if that ends it for us.
Yeah,
slide that in there.
Yeah, definitely a good November. I think it's going to be a good November, even if he doesn't win. But
that's facts.
Yeah, I hope he humbles that man. Even though somehow I think it's just going to be another rigged fight for Jake Paul. But
you think it's rigged? You think it's rigged?
100%. Maybe not this fight, but a lot of the ones so far, dude. Yeah. There's just no way that he's fighting these fighters that have been fighting their entire lives, and this TikTok boy comes in. Vine boy, whatever you want to call him,
Disney Channel,
just
Jake
starts
Paul.
beating these, like, even the UFC guys. Like, you mean to tell me that, like, yeah, like, they don't, they're not, their stand-up isn't as good as, a real boxer, but, like, it's still got to be better than some guy who just started fighting like 2 years ago. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, facts.
You think he's gonna win or no?
Who, Tyson or Paul?
Yeah. What's your prediction?
I don't know. It's hard to call because, Tyson's a real boxer, so some things you don't lose.
He's also
the
58.
man is 60.
Yeah.
He's 60 years old, dude. And Jake Paul's like, what, 28 or something like that? Like,
dude, Tyson's still a bad man, though. You see how jacked he is at 60? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but, Jake Paul's actually, like, had training now. Like, if this was, like, his first fight, I'd be like, oh, yeah, Tyson's going to put him down. But, like, he actually has, like, trained and, like, he boxed a real boxer in Fury. What was his name?
Wasn't this fight supposed to happen a few weeks ago, but he got hurt? Is that true?
Yeah, I think it got pushed back.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna go Tyson just because I want it to happen. I think, he obviously has the most experience, but if I was a betting man, I'd go Tyson for sure.
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd go Paul because I think it's rigged. But anyway. That's our prediction. So, Fezzy Boy, what's going on in your neck of the woods? How's the little boy? What's going on?
Good. Just had the in-laws here, so they left today. So hopefully I think they got home by now. Little man's doing good. He just went for his little he gets these little massages. He's a bougie baby man. Got this little
going for massages.
Yeah,
fresh out the womb. Dang, boy.
I know. He went to lactation, and I guess his jaw is tight, so they always do like this. I don't even know what it's called. There's some technical term for it, but basically he got a jaw massage, and he always loves it when that happens. He sleeps really well, so Wow. But other than that, nothing too crazy, nothing
Got to
new.
toughen them up at some point there. Got to be
I
careful
know,
there.
just gonna have them sleep outside here in the next week or so.
There you go. Bro,
But
have
no,
you
not
seen that they do that in Scandinavia? This is
my
completely off
what
topic.
my wife keeps saying that. She's like, yeah,
Dude,
they
it's
throw the
real.
baby, they bundle them up and throw them outside. I'm like,
They
what the
do.
heck?
It makes their immune system stronger.
Oh, and here it comes, man. Your dad has a weak one, so we got to do something to boost it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
No,
Yeah.
nothing too new with me. How about you?
Yeah, nothing too much going on this side. Just house projects and stuff. I actually have Monday and Tuesday off from work, so
What the
that'll
frick?
be super nice.
Every time I
Uh-huh.
talk to you, it's like, oh yeah, I had a half day Friday. Oh, yeah, just took a Friday off.
It's because I'm able to enjoy the second half of the year because from like January to May I don't take time off because there's nothing to do
True.
because it's just sucky weather and nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So I stacked up all my vacation days and now I'm able to take them. I
Do
think
you
I
have to
said this
use
on
them?
the
Do they
pot.
roll over?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but my manager literally told me like, "Hey, you have all these vacation days. You haven't you literally taken more sick days than you have vacation days this year. So you have to take them before the end of the year because they don't roll over." So I was like, "Say less." So I just stacked a bunch of like Fridays and uh, you know, I'm obviously taking Monday and Tuesday, so it'll be a good time. But
How much time do you get off for Christmas?
I get the whole week off.
Like, is that like your
So we
PTO or
have
for Christmas they give you a
so
week?
it's 3 days of PTO that I have to take. I get Christmas Eve and Christmas off, and then I'm taking
Okay.
3 days of PTO
Gotcha.
off. And then we have New Year's Eve and New Year's off. So during that whole week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is, I'll have like one day I'll have to get that
Dang.
whole little spiel there. So
Stay in
it'll
school,
be
kids. This is what happens. You got the college dropout and the college graduate. Take your pick. Here we go. And wait a minute, everyone in the comments, guess which one's who? I'm out here stretching my PTO for Christmas, but
yeah. How's your
fine.
PTO looking? We're just talking about our PTO here in the pod. And it's no.
Yeah, people are very interested in our day-to-day lives for sure.
Yeah.
I have a week, but the only reason I have a week is because I obviously I've only been at this job a year. So at 6 months I got a week, and then at a year I got another week. I already spent that first one within that 6 months when I got it. And then I took a little bit of time off in between the 6 months and a year, which was unpaid. So, but I just got that extra week this like past week, so that's the only reason I have that. Otherwise, it would.
So it's in like 6 month increments.
Just in the first year. So, in January I'll start out with 2 at the beginning of the year. It was just because it was my first year of work.
Gotcha.
So,
cool. Well, if
here.
anyone wanted to know what Pheasant Ice PTO looks like for this year, there you go. So now you're informed, and we can move on with the podcast. But for that being said, we'll move on into the football podcast and get it going here in just a second.
All right, just past the halfway point of the NFL season. We're going to recap Week 10 and then look ahead to Week 11, even though Week 11 did start last night with the Washington and Eagles game, which was a decent game, a little boring here and there. But Sammy Boy and I did watch that game. Sometimes I don't watch, unfortunately. But we're going to recap last week, a couple of games of note to highlight. We're going to start off with the Ravens and the Bengals. Did you watch this game, Sam?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what did you think about it? Because I have some thoughts about it, just with the Bengals and Joe Burrow in particular. But what were your thoughts on the game and anything else about it?
Yeah, like I said, I watched bits and pieces of it. Thursday nights are sometimes a little bit tougher to watch those games, but yeah, I think it was another opportunity for the Bengals to really come out and show that they're a good team and they can finally turn around their season and go on a little bit of a run here. But wasn't to be. Obviously, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, 2 huge days for both of them. Joe Burrow throwing for 4 touchdowns and over 400 yards. Jamar Chase basically catching more than half of those, 3 touchdowns, 260 yards. So massive day individually by him, but In the end, it wasn't quite enough to get the win over the Ravens. So, tough L for them, but obviously a good dub for the Ravens. I think sometimes Ravens kind of crumble when they play against good teams, kind of like the Eagles, like I've said in the past. So obviously it's a good day for them, and Lamar Jackson putting up 4 touchdowns definitely helped him out as well. So good for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the only thoughts I have about the game really were one, Baltimore's. I mean, it was kind of like a track meet because none of their defenses do really well. Like you said, Joe Burrow throwing 4 TDs. He's honestly having an MVP season. Like everyone talks about Lamar, and obviously Lamar is doing it with his legs as well. But I mean, dude, Joe Burrow has been balling out along with Jamar
He's
Chase,
first
and
in yards and tied for first in touchdowns.
yeah,
So
but their team's not winning, so no one
and
talks about it.
has only thrown 4 interceptions.
Yeah,
So
that's just nuts. So
pretty
I
good.
I just hate to see them like wasting like a very good MVP caliber season from Joe Burrow. I don't know. This their defense can't quite do it. But the same you could say the same thing about the Ravens too. Like they've been given I mean they gave up 35 points, 34 points, excuse me, to the Bengals and we'll look ahead to the game against the Steelers this week. A lot of people have the Steelers winning just cuz I mean the Ravens can't stop it. Especially their secondary. That's the biggest thing. They're all right in the run defense, but it's just I don't know, just a weird season for sure for the Bengals. Started out, what was their record at the beginning of the season? It was like
The Bengals?
yeah, it was like they were like
They're
2-5 or something like that.
yeah,
I mean,
they've been bad basically all year as far as their record's concerned.
yeah, 4-6. They started out really poorly.
Mm-hmm.
They lost lost New England in the beginning of the
Yeah,
season. Didn't really
that's when
couldn't
everyone thought
couldn't
New
really
England was
recover
going to
from
be
that.
decent, and then
I
obviously,
know Peter was. I remember Peter was like so hyped. He's like, just beat the Bengals. Like I
yeah,
was like,
we'll be in
I
the
was like,
wild card hunt.
I mean, maybe, dude. And then I mean, yeah, it
Yeah,
just didn't work out that way.
they were 1 and
Um,
4 at one point. The Bengals were so
really?
struggle bus. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not as bad as the Jets though. But we stopped talking about the Jets because it's just kind of just a regular
tough
week
man.
occurrence at this point.
Yeah,
Like I mentioned, the Steelers playing the Ravens this coming weekend, but last weekend, Steelers had a measuring stick type of type of game against Washington, pulled out a dub. Kind of I don't know. It was a weird game for sure. Washington and Steelers defense really showing that they can stop a high-powered offense like Washington, but win the game on a
Mike Williams with a
offsides.
tutty.
Dude, Mike Williams, dude, that's gonna work out good for us, I think, for sure. I actually
Do you
picked him.
think, or is this like a first game? Like, oh yeah,
It could be. There's a lot of
because he
people
still
who
only
are.
had like what two catches or something.
Yeah, one was a TD, but just uh, I mean, he's got Russell Wilson who's throwing that deep ball like every time. If they get a one-on-one on either side with Pickens or him, they're usually going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually picked him up in fantasy because people were saying that he'll probably get a lot of targets in the Ravens game, especially with that
Yeah.
crazy secondary. But what did you watch this game and what did you think about the offsides at the end by the rookie?
So idiotic, bro. Like
Stupid.
everyone in the entire stadium and everyone watching the game knew exactly what they were doing right there.
Right.
And homeboy still jumps off
Uh,
sides. Like, come on, bro. What are we
yeah.
doing here? I thought it was just a dumb way to end a really, really good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, just tough. I watched most of the second half just because that's the either the Fox or the CBS game that was in
Mhm.
our region here. So yeah, it was a pretty good game. I was surprised to see Russ actually doing some good things out there.
Yeah.
I do think that he's not quite obviously the Russell. I actually think that Justin Fields is better than him. A better
Mhm.
fit for the Steelers, even though Justin Fields might throw maybe a couple more interceptions than him. But yeah, Russ is doing good. Still wish that Fields would get out there. They would play him a little bit more, but obviously got to go with the veteran quarterback. That's fine with me. But yeah, so good stuff from the Steelers. I like to see them doing well. I like that they got Mike Williams. I think giving him an extra shot this season will be good after the way he was treated, I guess you could say, with the Jets and with Rodgers and everything. So cool to see him get a tutty. I hope he goes off the second half of the year. That'd be just a huge plus for the Steelers going forward. So it'll be good to see. We could also talk about the Commanders kind of imploding a little bit with their loss on last night. It's two in a row on the bounce for them. So
yeah, exactly. That's a good segue into this week's highlight. Quickly though, before we move off the Steelers, I mean, we'll talk about them again because we're going to highlight the Ravens-Steelers game. But I wanted to get an unbiased opinion from you. Kind of the thing going around the internet and all these sports talk shows. Would you put the Steelers in the contender category for this season for winning a Super Bowl?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because, like, my biased opinion is like, heck yeah, we're going all the way, man. But, like, obviously, you can't ask a fan of the team if you're going to win the Super Bowl. Obviously,
right.
You go into every season hoping and wishing and kind of thinking that your team can do it. But
yeah, I would say no. I just don't think that they're quite as deep enough. Obviously, their defense, I think is championship contender caliber, but I think that they've still got too many question marks on offense. Obviously, Pickens is great when he actually tries, but he's too inconsistent for me.
yeah.
Mike Williams, he's a good number 2, I guess. But still, he's gonna have to put together multiple weeks. And coming off an ACL, and obviously has had problems with drops when he was at the Jets, which is the reason why they didn't want him anymore. I'm gonna have to see a little bit more from their offense to really be able to put them in championship contention. But Najee Harris, he's really good. I like him a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think that they could surprise some people though. Like, I wouldn't say that they're like a solidified contender, but you know, if you win a game or two, like obviously you're in the AFC Championship and a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So,
Right.
you know, you never know. It kind of depends how all the seeding and stuff will work. Like, you guys are first in your division though, so you're still out of Baltimore. So anything could happen. You might get a home playoff game. You know, anything can happen in the NFL. So,
all right. I like that. I like
you
that.
think
Yeah,
you're a
I'm
contender?
you want my unbiased opinion.
Correct.
I think if we beat the Ravens this week, which we'll talk about, we'll definitely prove that we can beat a contender, because obviously a lot of people have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl and winning it.
I agree.
But my thing is, as long as our offense can be serviceable and our defense is world class, I think anything is possible.
TJ Watt can win you a couple games by himself. So
yeah, exactly. Our defense can hold teams to like sub 15 points. Like, we can really do that on our day. As long as
if you look at the games that you've won recently, Raiders, Jets, Giants, 13 points, 15 points, 18 points. So
yeah, exactly.
That's
so like
stuff.
As long as we can do that and we don't even have to put up 24 points. Like, if we can put up, like, I don't know.
Granted, those aren't great teams I just mentioned, but
exactly.
So
you
get the point.
This week is going to be a big tell. But I think as long as we have serviceable offense, I think anything's possible. But yeah, speaking of this week, we'll start off with the game that happened last night. To recap quickly, Washington lose to the Eagles. I don't have the score off the top of my head. It was like 28 to something. Do you have the score right there?
The Eagles game last night?
Yeah.
It was 26-18.
26-18. All right. My dyslexicness is getting to me there. But you said you watched most of this game. I watched up until the fourth quarter. Going into half, Washington kind of looked like they had a bit of control there against the old Philadelphia. What did you think of this game? What did you take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Commanders were ahead for, I think, most of the game until about late in the third quarter. So it kind of seemed like both offenses were kind of stalling. It was kind of a boring game, to be honest, for the most part. Like, Washington got a touchdown early, and then it was like 10-6 for like most of the second and third quarters. But obviously, Philly pulling away there in the second half with a pair of Saquon Barkley touchdown runs, which really killed my fantasy team. But I digress. Yeah, good win by Philly. They just kind of wear you out and then just hopefully pull away in the fourth quarter. This is another game where they actually won by more points than they usually do. It's usually a one possession game for Philly, but yeah, solid game by them. Like I said, they just kind of wore Washington out. Jaden Daniels threw I think at least one pick, and I think he fumbled it as well. So just not a great day by him. But yeah, solid win by the Eagles. I don't have a ton more to say about them. They find themselves at 8-2 again somehow, kind of under the radar, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
solid win for them against a good Commanders team that's kind of proven themselves to be a lot better than we thought at the beginning of the year. So
yeah, for
they
sure.
they locked down Scary Terry McLaurin. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
he had like
yeah,
one
they did.
catch. Just
No,
crazy.
the Eagles second half of the year definitely have like they're scary, man. They got a good roster. They figured out how to play Jalen Hurts. Obviously have Saquon Barkley who's just tearing it up. And if
He's
they
the
get a
real
lead,
reason that they can go. Yeah.
it's like Baltimore. If they get a lead, they'll just bludgeon you to death until the game's over. Like
Yeah.
they'll hand it to him 35 times in the second half alone and be like, just go run the clock out. And
Yeah.
he's averaging like I think it's like 3, 4, 5 yards of carry or more, something like
Yeah.
that. Don't quote me on that. Something like that. Something
In
crazy.
a weaker NFC as well. It's like really between
Yeah.
them and the Lions about who gets to the Super Bowl, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Derrick Henry and the Ravens, we're gonna highlight. We kind of talked about it a little bit already, but this is kind of a big game, especially in that division. Steelers and Ravens. Both teams always turn up for this rivalry. Super good. Um, Ravens expected to win. Steelers not as much, but if the Steelers do, I think they'll really kind of put everybody on notice for sure. We've kind of gotten into it, but like just with the whole contenders, not contenders type things. You beat the Ravens, man. I mean, the only reason I have hesitation is because of that secondary with Baltimore. And I mean, our offense, I say our, meaning Steelers, the Steelers offense really is predicated on, I mean, Najee Harris can run the ball, which is good. And then we get into play action and then we throw the deep ball. So, like, I mean, we're definitely going to be testing that secondary a lot come
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, it would be huge for you guys to get a dub and go 2 games above the Ravens in the division.
Yeah, absolutely. No, huge game coming up, but none bigger. This is kind of the staple every year. The Titans of the NFL at this point. We got the Chiefs versus the Bills. I think the Bills are favored in this game, even though they're missing some key pieces. I think Amari Cooper's trending to play, but they're gonna probably be out. Dalton Kincaid, who's doubtful. They're already out. Coleman. So really kind of just depleted roster. I mean, Kansas City's kind of dealing with the same thing, but they have the likes of Kareem Hunt, Kelsey. I mean, D Hop's there now, so a little better pieces than Buffalo's working with now. But Josh Allen has just been on a heater this season. Obviously, in MVP talks, but how do you see this game going? And I think I forgot to mention I think we forgot to put it in the doc, but the Chiefs pulling out a week. What do you think about that? Kind of annoying. And what do you think about this game coming up this week?
Yeah, I think this is like the highlight of the regular season. I think for 2, maybe even 3 years now, like this is like the must-watch regular season game just because of the battles in the playoffs and everything. I feel like the game never disappoints, and the Bills are always kind of like ahead most of the game, and the Chiefs always beat them in the end. At least in the playoffs for sure. And I think the Chiefs won in the regular season last year as well. But obviously a huge game. I can't wait to watch it. A lot of my coworkers at work are big time sports bettors. And we don't really talk about the betting part of sports too much. But like you said, the Bills are favored in this game, so all my buddies were just hammering money on the Chiefs because it's like, when do you ever get the Chiefs? Plus the money with them being the underdogs. So, and like you said, they just keep finding ways to win, man. Like I was watching that Broncos Chiefs game, and I was like, man, Broncos could finally give them their first L on the season. I watched that last drive, and then they set up for that 38-yard field goal. Like
I know,
I was
chip
like, all
shot,
right, here
bro.
it is, and I literally audibly said, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like, I
Yeah.
could not believe. I was like, every bounce, every just every way you could win, the Chiefs find a way, man. It's
Yeah.
super frustrating, annoying, but 9-0, man. Like they every I saw I hate to be giving them credit too, but like I saw an analysis after the game. It's like there wasn't by accident, dude. Like they were trying
No.
to block a kick the whole game, like overloading that one side, targeting
Mhm.
that one lineman, and they finally got through with those 3 or 4
I
guys. I think
know.
Karloftis or somebody it was, who by the way I really like him as a linebacker, but anyway, um, I think he got through and blocked it. So it's just every um, every aspect of the Chiefs have at least credited one win to their credit in the season so far. I think that obviously the offense I think is doing the worst of all three of the units this year. The special teams obviously getting a good dub, and the defense has
Yeah,
won them
man.
multiple games at this point. So, but it's crazy. We'll see what they
Yeah.
do against the Bills, though. It's obviously the biggest test coming up. But
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it's the marquee matchup every year. I
yeah,
think part of it too is because like these are two. I mean, Lamar's up there. Obviously, he's kind of in the same boat with Josh Allen, like super good, talented,
they
can do
gotta
it.
give it to Josh, man.
Got to give it, yeah, dude, facts. But I think the biggest thing is it's always these two we're talking about because they beat the playoffs every year. Uh, you know, obviously the Chiefs have had their way with the Bills in the playoffs the last few years. But I think the reason it's kind of like when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning met in the regular season. It's like this is legacy on the line. Like
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes down to it, if Josh could get a few Super Bowls, I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes is kind of way ahead of that in that category. But
Yeah,
I
a little
mean,
bit.
people always like look at head to head. I mean, they do it with LeBron. I guess not LeBron and MJ, but like LeBron and Steph and stuff like that. Whenever they're comparing players, you always look at head to head. So like, I mean, these games matter. Like they're not thinking about it now, but us as fans are. Like this is legacies on the line whenever they play, which is just makes it that much better every
Right.
year.
I just still can't believe that the Bills lost to the Chiefs last because like they had them right where they wanted. Chiefs not a great season, ended up at
Uh,
11-6. Finally got the Chiefs at home in the
yeah.
playoffs, where everything felt like it was on your side. The Chiefs were
Mm-hmm.
banged up, and they still found a way, man.
I
Like, oh,
it was it
what
was
it
like
is to be a Bills fan, man.
I know, dude. It
Just
like,
getting
dude,
owned by the same team. If it wasn't for the Chiefs, bro, we'd be talking about the Bills being like the Chiefs, just like
dude,
making a
for
Super
real,
Bowl every year.
for real. Because who was even close? Like the Bills were the only ones that were like putting up a fight against the Chiefs all these
Yeah.
years, and the Chiefs just find a way to win, especially in the Super Bowl. I think last season, Bills beat the Chiefs. Like I think they took both games in the regular season, and then the Chiefs come into Buffalo, find a way to win in the snow. Well, by find a way to win, freaking Tyler Bass shanks a 40-yard field goal,
Right.
and I'm just like, I don't know. It was just like foreshadowing to this season. It's kind
I'll
of
always
annoying.
remember Jason Kelsey though outside the stadium, just crushing beers and throwing himself through tables and
He was enjoying
so,
retirement like really
yeah, what a
early. He was just
legend,
like,
dude.
dude, what an absolute legend. That's gonna do it for the NFL portion of this segment. We're gonna quickly just go over the college football playoff rankings, not to be confused with the AP poll or anything else like that. I know it. A lot of people have actually given the NCAA like a lot of flack. They do a lot wrong. I don't think this is like anything they're doing wrong, but so now we have the college football playoff rankings, and then you have your AP poll, and then you have the NCAA rankings, which are all different. We're going to focus on the playoffs because that's all that matters. Currently in your top 12, we have Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, BYU, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia sitting at 12. Um, there's been a lot of talk about Boise State getting in, and just I don't fully understand it. You might understand it a little bit more because you explained it to me when this all started. But like, obviously, you have the top 5 conferences, and whoever wins their conference tournaments gets in. And so like automatically, which could like there's a situation where even if Georgia wins
seeding,
messes up the seeding. It also could mean that number 12 in this ranking actually doesn't get in because someone wins it. So it's a whole mess.
Yeah, so I won't explain the whole thing again, but yeah, it basically creates a scenario where, let's say the SEC, you have number 7 Tennessee against number 12 Georgia, let's say. If Georgia were to win that game, they would automatically get in with a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of the top 4 seeds technically in the tournament, but they would still be ranked 12. Mm-hmm. So it just messes up like the rest of the at-large teams getting in. So I mean, obviously at that point Tennessee would still be in, but they wouldn't get a first round bye and blah blah blah. So it's kind of confusing. It's kind of funny. Both I've watched a little bit of the rankings that they do both the weeks, and they televise it on ESPN. And watching them try to explain every single time what's going on and how the whole thing shakes out is comedy. But we'll just wait until it's actually the final one, and we'll explain it then. But
exactly,
my one quabble with the rankings this week is that they bumped Boise State down even though they won again.
I know, dude.
I was like, dude, come on.
Well, it's because you got to fit Georgia in there because they're just a staple. Like it's a whole thing. Like I mean, it's like SEC nepotism almost. Like if that's even a way of describing it. Just
100%.
I mean, top to bottom SEC. It's like the Big 12 in basketball. Like top to bottom, like they're getting like 8 teams into the NCAA tournament, and like the bottom of the Big 12 could probably compete in the tournament. They just can't send the whole stinking conference.
Yeah, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia are all ahead of Boise, even though they have 2 losses. But
yeah, for sure.
Indiana, though, let's talk about them for just a hot second.
Indiana,
10-0. Bring
it back, Northwestern football tradition,
what
man.
What are you talking about back? Have they ever been here?
Oh, man. They're undefeated, right? I think you just said that. I just missed that.
Yeah.
10-0, man. Where did their coach come from? He's an ex-NFL head coach. Who did he coach for?
Kirk Cignetti, I believe his name is. I'm not sure if he came directly from the NFL, but everywhere he's gone, he's won. I think he was in the NFL. I think he was actually at Pittsburgh for a little while, maybe in the NFL. But he was at James Madison, and James Madison was doing really good in recent years. I know they were like 11-2 last year or something. But I just remember seeing at the beginning of the year that kind of went viral, where he was like, "Yeah, everywhere I've gone, I've won." And if you look up his resume, he has won everywhere he's gone. But that was a pretty bold statement when he's going to coach at Indiana. But Indiana are 10-0, so
standing on business for sure.
Absolutely. So
definitely
cool to watch them go.
Yeah, definitely a good surprise. I mean, as this shakes out, it'll probably end up being the top 4, but I just like the parity that it brings. Like, I mean, we got Georgia at 12, and they might not get in. We got Boise State, SMU, Texas A&M trying to get in. Colorado might be a sneaky pick to get in, because at the end of the day, it's also like it's not totally objective. It's a committee picking these teams, so it's like I heard it explained like if you watch the games, they're gonna pick the teams that like look like playoff teams. They're not just gonna like let any Joe Schmo get in just because their record's good or whatever.
But if you think about it too, like obviously they can't do much about the Power 4 or whatever about the champions getting in. But the rest of them are still at large, basically. Like, they're still going to put in whoever they want at the end there. So, I mean, like, it's coming down perfectly. Like, you have Alabama at 10, Ole Miss 11, 12 Georgia, all with 2 losses. And they're going to leave Boise State out probably at 10-1 with fewer losses than all 3 of those SEC teams. And it's going to be chaos again. Like, and potentially with the Heisman winner on the squad.
I know, dude. Gotta love college football. College sports.
Put in all 50 of them. We'll decide it that way.
Just a giant tournament that starts at the beginning of the season.
If you're bowl eligible, you're in.
Yeah, that's right. All the bowl games matter. You're moving on.
That's right.
Just do that. Oh, we could fix the NCAA. We should be the commissioners. Honestly,
Imagine how
should
many
do.
games that would be. Oh my
That'd be
goodness.
crazy. Just
We'd have
hey,
college football till March. Would
hey,
that really be
perfect
a
timing.
bad thing though?
Oh, dude, college football start their tournament up till the basketball tournament. No one cares about the college
They
basketball regular season.
yeah, exactly.
So,
We would need 200-man rosters at that point to all the injuries and
dude,
stuff people
more
would get.
opportunity, more scholarships, dude. We're just creating
More
opportunity
money.
for more money.
Come on now. Revenue is what we need.
We're in. We're in. Absolutely in. All jokes aside, yeah, it was just kind of like it's been confusing, but we'll keep an eye on it, and when it finally drops and it's the final rankings, we'll talk about it and see who got snubbed at the end of the season. But that's going to do it for this portion of the podcast.
Alrighty, hopping over the pond as we usually do for some world football here. We are now in the international break once again. I believe it'll be the last one in this calendar year, thankfully. Everyone loves a good Nations League break, but yeah, they're not too fun. Obviously missing the club football, but obviously last weekend we had some Premier League games to talk about. The old big rivalry, the London rivalry, Arsenal versus Chelsea, my team versus Fezzi's team.
Yeah, it's
pretty good game overall. Let's get a little analysis from old Fezzy boy before I give my 2 cents on this big time game here.
Yeah, definitely two sides to the coin. One, missed opportunity for you guys. Two, great opportunity taken for us. Snuck out of there. Like, dude, last kick of the game. I don't know what Trussard was doing, but like he usually puts those away and should have. Like, flashed right in front of the face of goal. I don't know. He just missed hit it. I can you even
Didn't
say
even
that?
hit it. Yeah.
Didn't even touch it. I don't know.
If
But
he would have touched it when it went in, so no, he didn't touch it.
you guys were definitely so for the analysis part of it from me. You guys were from my side. You guys were definitely the better team. We got a lucky scrappy goal, kind of off of a turnover, yada yada. Neto putting it in. Not even that good of a strike. Just like the whole goal was kind of like this, you know, kind of whatever. Made a good opportunity out of a little
Gabriel
opportunity.
chewing out Kai Havertz afterwards. I was like, yeah, you deserve that. That was weak defense.
Absolutely. So like I kind of jokingly said, but meant in truth was like, yeah, we took an opportunity, got out of there with some points, sitting in third comfortably right now. But you guys a little bit of a missed opportunity for your old Gunners, eh, Sammy?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we've even said this yet, but the score was 1-1. By the way,
yeah, it was a draw. It was a draw.
That got lost in translation somewhere, but yeah, tough game. Obviously, we take the lead on cloud 9 after that. Obviously, finally feeling like we're rolling after having just a really tough few weeks. Martin Odegaard not really looking like himself this first game back from after being out for a couple months, I think at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, did really well most of the game. Chelsea did a really good job of just staying in it and just kind of staying organized and just trying to get a goal on the break. And obviously, they finally got a goal. It wasn't on the break, but kind of a just a switch off as far as Arsenal's defense is concerned. Like I said, Havertz just completely letting that ball go through their line there, and just an easy shot from outside the box. You couldn't even make an argument that Raya should have saved that just because it was down and like within reach, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, the killer is right at the end, basically the last kick of the ball. Saliba somehow is the one creating that there. But Trossard and Havertz both kind of whiff on it. I was like, I don't know how you can't get a foot on that. Like, you're sliding across goal, trying to get to him. Like, man, you're just right there. But yeah, just super frustrating. Could have won it a couple of times actually at the death there. But with the form that we've been in recently, losing to Bournemouth and Newcastle, just 2 in a row there. We'll take a 1-1 away from home, I believe. Will we play right from home?
Yeah, I think it was at
it was at Chelsea. So
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, we'll take that. Chelsea a little bit stronger this year than in years past, but a really, really tight race like I was telling you just before we got on this segment, the difference between third place and 13th place is four points right now. So
Yeah.
we got a pretty good race in the Premier League this week. I don't know if you had any closing arguments about your old Chelsea, what they got coming up, but I don't know if you want to talk about their next game or anything.
I actually don't even know who we're playing. I didn't even look that up.
Leicester City
It's
on Saturday.
Oh, we should win that
On next
easily.
Saturday.
Leicester City's what were they saying? 15th in the league, 10 points out of all competitions. We should beat them. If we don't, which we've dropped worse games, so wouldn't be surprised. But I'm a little more optimistic this year. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. Like I wouldn't say they're running away with it, but like, I mean, Liverpool's 5 points ahead of Manchester City, and then Chelsea and Arsenal are tied third and fourth with 19 points, and then but like you said, kind of like that middle of the league, super close. So it's just going to be an interesting season. Imagine Nottingham Forest sneaks in at like a 4 spot to get into the Champions League. Like, what are we back in like the 60s or something like that? That'd be wild.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely insane. For them to be back in the Champions League, that would be crazy. That would be almost crazier than, well, I wouldn't say crazier. I was about to say crazier than Leicester winning it, but nothing gets crazier than that. But
That's insane.
yeah, it's cool to see them good again. Like you said, Liverpool boasting a 5-point advantage there at the top of the table. We'll talk a little bit about Man City here. Man City lose once again to Brighton. That is 4 losses in a row for Man City. First time that Pep has ever lost 4 games in a row in his entire managerial career. Of course, he's always had the best teams in the league, but that's a discussion for another day. In all competitions, League Cup, Premier League twice, and then in the Champions League, they got demolished by Sporting. So really rocking the boat over there at City. Obviously, they're dealing with some injury struggles, but even so, I don't think there's much excuse for losing 4 in a row, especially to teams that you should be beating. So we'll see if Liverpool are able to take advantage. Obviously, they're going in to this international break with a 5-point advantage. Really, really unfortunate that my Gunners are, this year we're obviously not as strong as last couple of years. So it's really frustrating that we can't take advantage of that point. The point drops as well, but we'll see if we will be able to gain some ground against Man City. So it's kind of an open race there under Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool have a little bit of a cushion, not to say it's over yet, obviously, by any stretch of the imagination, but everybody's just really, really tight there in the Premier League race. Do you think Nottingham Forest sneak into that Champions League in the end, or you think levels are kind of going to even out and we're going to see the kind of the same old teams get in there, and Nottingham Forest maybe have to settle for a Europa or a Conference League?
Yeah, I think being in Europa for Nottingham Forest, especially after almost being relegated in the last couple of seasons, would be huge. But no, I think water will level out, and I mean, the top 4 there in some fashion will be the top 4, whether Liverpool actually ends up winning the league. But yeah, I really just think it's going to be that top 4 that get in. No surprises at the end of the season, unless something like drastic happens, like more injuries or something like that. Yeah, but it would be kind of cool. I mean, I would hope it'd be like a Liverpool, Manchester City that would drop out, but no one's doing that. So it would be one of our teams having to drop out of the top 4. But don't we get 5 spots now?
No, just the first 4.
Okay, they didn't.
The
They didn't give us
fifth
an
one
extra
is only if your country wins it, I believe, and then obviously you get an extra one because they'll probably be in the top 4 anyway. So,
okay. I knew there was talk about them adding a 5th to like the top 5 leagues or something like that.
I mean, unless you know something I don't, which is possible, but the only reason that Germany had 5 was because Dortmund were in 5th, but they obviously got to the final of the Champions League. Man City Real Madrid had already qualified for Champions League in their own country. So there's the top 4 of Germany plus the 5th, which is Dortmund. So
okay,
that
makes sense
for the 5th, yeah. But
cool.
Anyway, so a really tightly contested Premier League race. We will leave hopping around to a couple other countries for next week. Not too much that's notable going on right now. It's kind of just business as usual, really, for the big teams across the board. We're going to talk a little bit about Nations League right now. That's the international, tournament that they have created to make up for international friendlies. So Not anything too crazy going on. Italy beat Belgium 1-0. Belgium just really struggling. France failed to beat Israel. Kylian Mbappe notably absent from the French squad. I think there's a mixture of like personal reasons and unfit and blah blah blah. Some really sketchy stuff going on. He hasn't really been included in the last two squads, I believe, for France. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Follow France anytime before 2016. They're synonymous with scandal around big tournaments and everything. So we'll see if they're able to kind of flesh that out. But I was actually surprised that Fezzy Boy put this one in here, but Ronaldo goes freak mode, I guess you could say, against Poland. 2 goals and an assist for the boy. One bicycle kick goal, which isn't quite as nice as a lot of the pictures were showing. But what do you think of old Ronaldo here showing out at the age of 38, 39, I believe?
Yeah, dude. Close to 40, basically should be 40. Like, no one should be doing that at 40 years old, dude. I can't even do that at 25. What are we talking about?
He'll be
No,
40 in February.
40 in February. That is insane. Whether it's true or not, I follow a lot of transfer rumor talk on Instagram, so I'll see it flash through my feed and read it. But I saw there was like a potential swap deal with him going back to Manchester United. The new manager who was just signed said that
He
he
would
would be
never
welcome.
go back there, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Ten
Not
Hag's
after
gone.
how it ended. Yeah,
I
I
know,
don't
but
know.
imagine him like, I don't know, like that would really stick it to Messi. Like, yeah, you just lost in the playoffs and I'm going to freaking Manchester United at 40 years old. I
Yeah.
mean, weirder things have happened, and he also has an ego that would make him do something like that.
I could
But
see him going back to Madrid. That's what I could
that
see.
would
I
be
don't see
cool.
United.
I think we're
He
both in the same boat. I would love to see him go to Sporting to end his
Yes.
career.
I was about to say that, bro. Like I'm waiting for that move. Like I would
Yeah.
love to see him go back to his hometown team.
Because I think that's what Messi said he wants to do. He said when he's gonna hang it up,
Yep.
he's gonna go back to his original club,
I've been
play a
seeing
year.
rumors about Neymar going back to Santos this year too, so
Yeah, he's
could be
also linked to
interesting.
Miami. There's a
Is
lot
he
going on.
really? Bro,
He's like
if they need to get Neymar,
it's
well, go ahead.
to win the MLS, we gotta
Yeah.
reunite MSN just to like
Yeah.
that's insane, dude.
We'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, Ronaldo putting up still crazy numbers at
Crazy.
almost 40 years old. Yeah, just cool to see him. There's something else I was gonna say about him, I guess, but I guess I just was talking about Real Madrid and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would go back to Man United just because they couldn't guarantee him Champions League football.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. That I always see you compared, like you said that you would just stick it to Messi if you were to go back to United at age 40.
Mm-hmm.
I always see the comparisons of like when Messi and Ronaldo at their specific ages, like when Ronaldo was 37 and 38, he was at Juventus and Man United,
Mm-hmm.
bagging Champions League goals and saving, round of 16s and stuff. And Messi is 37 now and he's in the MLS. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the graphic I always see. So I don't think you would necessarily do it to stick it to Messi, but like you said, I would love to see him go to Sporting. But
Dude,
um,
it's legitimately like Peyton and Brady. Like a lot of like football people always put. I mean, it's a little less cut and dry than Peyton
yeah,
and Brady because Brady's undeniably like. I mean, I'll even say he's probably the best quarterback to ever do it. But like a lot of people still like but besides the point, like Peyton was kind of always that guy, you know, not like people liked and but didn't play as long. And then you have Brady, he was like 45 and winning Super Bowls with Tampa, so
right.
kind of
Yeah,
kind of the same thing with Messi and Ronaldo going on here. But
yeah, definitely a little similar. I remember when he was playing for Manchester United when Tom Brady went over there and watched one of his games and they were talking after one of the games. It was like it was cool to see like the obviously the GOAT of the NFL talking to Ronaldo after a game. It was just
yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed like a cool conversation. But anyway, we'll move on to a little bit of French league talk here.
wild.
One of the best teams in France. I guess not so much as of late, but historically, before PSG, for all you little 6-year-olds out there who are PSG fans and don't know
Or
anything before
Fez.
PSG were good. Lyon were the PSG before PSG because they had rattled off, I think, 5 or 6 Ligue 1s in a row. They had pretty big time players playing for them. Hugo Lloris, Benzema. Obviously, they have lots of history there. So, but they're in huge financial trouble. Word came down today that they could possibly be relegated from the first French division. I believe the term that was used was provisionally relegated to League Two amid financial struggles. Apparently, they owe up to 500 million euros. They've racked up quite the debt there at the Old Lyon. So unless they get, I believe what they mean by provisionally is that unless they get their finances in order by the end of the year, they will be going down to the second division, no matter where they end up in the table for this year. They've obviously imposed a self-ban as far as transfers go because they don't want to spend any more money, which is probably a good thing. But
That's wild.
Yeah, that's a little bit about what's going on in Lyon. Fezzy boy, what's your reaction to one of the biggest clubs in French football in shambles right now?
I almost lost my mind when you told me how much they were in
You
debt.
did.
Did you say it? I was kind of zoning there.
500 million, yes.
500 $500 million, people. Holy crap. Like, we talk about Barca being in shambles. We can barely we buy players and then they can't play because we don't even have the money to register them. Like, but dude, $500 million. Like, what are you gonna do? Sell your entire team to balance the books? Like, yeah, sure, you're still in League One, but you're pulling from you're playing academy.
I don't think
boys.
Their team is worth that much.
Probably not. They're gonna have to just sell the club at this point.
Right.
But I don't know, dude. That's crazy. That's my reaction. Just like when you told me the money, I was just like, someone needs to be fired or someone is not doing their job
just
right.
One person.
just one. The whole accounting, whatever. Need to hire Sam. Get him in the finances. Figure it out now.
Yeah, I just don't know how some of these clubs get in this massive debt. Most clubs in the world actually have an amount of debt that would just blow your mind, but when you're that big of a club, you can kind of manage it and leverage and everything and stuff like that. But apparently 500 million euros is just a little bit too much for the league and for Lyon to handle. So obviously that was brought down today. So we'll see how the next few weeks and months go for Lyon and see if they're able to do something to be able to balance the books there. They are I think they're 5th or 6th in the league right now, so not terrible season, but it won't matter if they can't get out of some of this debt. So
crazy.
That being said, we'll move on to the very last part of the segment here regarding football, and we're actually going to bring it stateside to soccer.
Wow. Soccer.
Inter Miami going down in the best of 3 games to Atlanta United FC. The old Avengers over there can't get it done against the likes of Atlanta United.
And, we got Thanos in goal in Atlanta, bro.
Yeah, exactly. One article I saw was like the biggest upset in MLS history. I don't know if that's whatever, but either way, Messi's team loses. Reactions.
I don't even know what to say, man. It's kind of just a joke at this point. Like, you can look at the Supporters Shield and them being like, oh, you're in the FIFA Club World Cup because of the Supporters Shield, which makes that look even more premeditated. You look at Atlanta, who always plays good against Miami. You have freaking 2/3 of MSN talking about maybe Neymar even getting in, coming to Miami just to win the freaking MLS Cup. You got Brad Guzan just playing out of his mind.
Also 40, by the way.
Also 40. Like, dude, our keeper situation with the national team right now,
dude. I think seriously,
we need to call him up. Like, jeepers,
where's he been?
Get Matt. I mean, Matt Turner did save a PK this past week, so good for him. But no, dude, like, the dumbest thing to come out of all of this, 2 dumbest things, and you can probably touch on the one better than me, but the one I want to mention is people saying, "Oh, the MLS is actually that competitive if Messi and friends can't win it." I was like, "Yeah, a 40-year-old Messi and friends can't win it. Of course, it's a team sport. So let's get that out of the way. Like, it's not the Premier League. Everyone shut up." But talking about the Premier League, everyone's like, they should change the format because if it was like Europe, they would have won the league. No, it's not like Europe. Get over it. Stop whining. I think it was Alba who was whining about it.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so you can probably touch on that a little bit more. I don't need to rant too much here, but I just think I'm a Messi dude. I've said this, I think, like the past 2 podcasts, but like I'm a Messi dude. But this is like I want to say it's hurting his legacy, but it's really just making it look
It's just
kind of
so blatant, the favoritism.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's just
yeah.
rubs
Yeah,
me
I
the wrong
mean,
way.
yeah, the comments afterwards about like the format being whack and all this stuff. Like I told you before the pod, like I actually kind of like the format. Best of 3 isn't the worst thing that MLS has ever done by far.
Yeah.
I think if you tie going straight to penalties, that's kind of dumb. I think that should be like an extra time, but whatever. And it's not that different from like a knockout round in the Champions League, like home and away. This it's just an extra game on top of that, which I think is kind of cool. I think that the upsets are a little bit more rare than maybe they could be with a 3-game format like that, but obviously not impossible because the best team assembled of all time of MLS history went down in the first round after like scoring record points in the regular season. Oh, they're so good, we're gonna put them in the Club World Cup. Well, couldn't get it done. Anything without a ring, as they say of the old of the Warriors that couldn't get it done back in 2016. So yeah, just
Absolutely.
like you were saying, just frustrating to see the favoritism. I don't think we've really touched on it much, but when you could just see the favoritism just so blatant is when Messi scored a header. Nice little header by Messi, by the way.
Yeah, got up there.
Nice little dink for the old 5'6" man. But so good goal by him. But then just to Guzan is whatever trying to collect the ball, and then I think Messi ends up with it. That was fine, whatever. And then just the 2-hand shove by their striker sends Guzan flying into his own net, and then Suarez over there in his face, like just taunting him, and then they just like run away, like a couple of little scaredy whatever. Like it's just like an attitude of just you're not going to get booked, so you can do whatever you want. Like
Right.
it's just so, like you're saying, blatant,
Yeah.
and
They
yeah, it's
own the
just
league.
they
So
own the league, yeah, but they're out, so they can't win it
they're done.
anymore. And
What
like
can you
you
say?
said, just makes the Club World Cup like inclusion so much worse. Like we were talking about then, like
Yeah.
they knew that they couldn't guarantee that they would win the MLS Cup.
Right.
So they're like, oh, they won the best regular season team. Let's put them in there because of that. It's just
Yeah.
so dumb. Like now, like what's the
Ridiculous.
MLS Cup champions going to say? Are they going to want a spot in the Club World Cup
Heck, put
too?
Atlanta United in there. They just beat
Yeah.
Miami like you get in, you get in, you get in. Like
This is
that's
the real
ridiculous.
question though. What do you think that Miami's games are going to look like in the Club World Cup? Are we going to see Messi favoritism against Liverpool like
Sure,
when
right?
he's playing for Miami?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to be upset about the format of the Club World Cup when they go out in
Literally.
the first round in the first game. Like, is there even like a group stage in that? Like, are
I don't
they gonna
know.
get more than one game in?
Who knows? Probably. I think it'll be like a league format, kind of like the Champions League is now.
Watch Messi
Um,
not even re-sign before then. I think because
I
he's
mean, he
out of
has.
a
Yeah,
he's
maybe
out
he'll
of a
retire.
contract. Like, yeah, there's probably something
Dude,
with
he's gotten
FIFA.
every single Barca player that he could get over there. I don't think he's going to be like, peace out, guys, after that, especially if Neymar comes. I haven't even heard about the Neymar rumor. That's wild that you mentioned that, but I
Yeah, I
saw
mean, there's
the
even
Santos thing, but I
there's
don't know
even
how
talks about is it Al Hilal? No,
Al
is he with?
Hilal. Yeah,
Okay, he's with. I always get them wrong. I always get them mixed up because it's all kind of this
it's all
similar. But
Al's.
yeah, exactly, a bunch of Al's over there, like literally. But anyway, it's like, what's the second word in that name? No, but I saw they were even in talks about like terminating his contract early.
Really?
Yeah,
What happens with
because
all that money that he signed for? Goodness.
I mean, they have enough over there. They don't even care. They don't even. There's no such thing as
They'll
caps
probably
over
just
there.
pay it to them and be like, get out of our country.
Yeah, you can take the private jet with you if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
We got 3 more back.
Right, more than that probably.
Wild, dude, just wild. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's all Mickey Mouse league stuff going on. They just want to be Europe so bad that they just ruin it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just, like, I think you touched on it maybe last spot. It doesn't help with the credibility of the MLS. They finally got like the marquee player that they could have ever gotten, really, and they're just ruining it by making themselves an unserious league and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's the MLS. What are you going to do? But anyway, that's a little bit of ranting, I guess you could say, on the old MLS front. So hope you guys have enjoyed a little bit of I guess a walk back to memory lane with Ronaldo talk and Lyon way back in the 2000s dominating, and now with Messi, I guess, currently trying to dominate the MLS, but not really working out for him. So we'll see how he's able to do in the next year. So yeah, this will conclude the soccer segment. We'll get ready with a little college basketball here in just a second with old Fezzy.
Let's go. All right, we have had the first 2 weeks of college basketball, and there have been some not so good games and some pretty big games. We had Baylor and Gonzaga first week, which did not disappoint. We had the Champions Classic this week, which I did not realize was not a tournament. I'm so used to them having, even if it's 4 teams, sometimes they have these little preseason tournaments, but didn't realize that this is just kind of like a way of them getting like 4 of the biggest names in the sport to play against each other, just regular season games and what have you. But to start out the night, we had Michigan State versus Kansas, and Michigan State goes down to Kansas. Kind of what everyone expected. Did not expect it in the fashion that it did. I think Michigan State, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they literally hit like 3 threes the whole game. And just with the basketball landscape, college or NBA, you're not winning games if you're doing that. Kansas was led by Dickinson, who had, I think, 20-plus points.
I think he had almost 30, but yeah.
Almost 30, I think over 8 boards. I don't have the stats in front of me. I should have pulled them up. But yeah, it was a good game against 2 titans of the sport. I don't know if you watched this game at all. You did watch this game. Any impressions on the game? Obviously, Izzo, a mediocre team. It was close in the first half, but couldn't really coach them to anything significant in the second half.
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of both the games. Obviously, haven't touched on Kentucky and Duke yet. Like you said, though, because it was a classic and it was played at a neutral site, I feel like I didn't watch as much as I would have if I was at home for one of the teams, just because, like, that's college basketball right there. I think I sent you a snap, actually, of the Kansas fans just going nuts when they were playing just some team or whatever. I was like, college basketball is back. But so, yeah, the fact that it was at a neutral site took a little bit of away from me. So I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched the last few minutes. Kansas was able to make a couple smart plays down the stretch and really be able to bring that one home. Dickinson's like 25 years old or whatever, not playing with all these college kids.
Like an 8th year senior or something stupid
something like that. But he's really good. So it's cool to see Kansas pull that one out. I always like Michigan State and Tom Izzo's teams too. So just a good game overall. So not much analysis from me. You probably won't get much analysis from me as far as college basketball is concerned until like late December, early January. So
casual.
I am. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I didn't really actually. I've always liked college basketball. I didn't start really watching it until like 5 years ago. But
I'm a casual till January. I'll put it that way.
That's right. You're also a casual because you root for Oklahoma State, and they're like never doing anything since freaking Cade Cunningham.
Big facts. What can I say? We're 3-0 now, though. Put some respect on our names.
3-0. And just a quick highlight, Bill Self became the most winningest Kansas head coach.
Oklahoma State product.
Absolutely. I think he's at like 5. I could be being really dyslexic. It's either 561 or 591. Not sure which way the 6 or 9 flips, but we're going to go with it. but he is the most winningest coach in Kansas basketball history. So good for Bill Self.
This is completely off topic and not even in the doc, and probably gonna extend our podcast more. But where do you think he's at in the kind of the hierarchy? Obviously, you can name a lot of guys up there, but hierarchy of coaches, a lot of them whom they've retired at this point. But like, is he up there with like Coach K and blanking on Virginia's coach, not Tony. Tony Bennett.
Yeah, Tony Bennett.
Is he up there with blanking on all these coaches? Villanova's coach just retired.
Jay
Wright, and like Roy Williams. Like, where's he at in that whole spiel?
Yeah, that put me on the spot here.
I know.
And obviously, he has a ways to go. He's not old.
He's youngish.
Basketball. He's not old at all. And obviously, Tony Bennett, leaving this past summer, I guess it was technically still summer.
He only has two titles, only 4 Final Four appearances. So I don't know. He doesn't quite have the stats of some of those other guys, but
yeah, I think he's hovering around. I'm gonna safely say top 8. I'm not gonna put him in any order. Maybe that's another pod, but he's definitely up there in the top 8. I'm respectful enough not to say top 10 because I think he could easily be in the top 5, but I just, with what you're presenting me right now, I'm gonna go top 8 for sure. He's definitely up there with the best of the best and still going strong. So,
he's been at Kansas since 2003. He's won what it feels like the Big 12 tournament every year. So, but anyways, just thought I'd get your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good little question there. I'm gonna have to think about that. We're gonna have to put that in another pod because that is a good conversation. Obviously, Coach K goes at the top, like above all else, and then kind of just funnel.
I guess you could put your boy in there in the conversation. Even though he doesn't have the stats, but he's only got one title. But he has a ton of Final Fours, doesn't he?
Yeah, a ton of Final Fours. He has one championship, like so many wins. Like that's another thing you'd have to look at. Obviously, Coach K has all-time wins, but then you have like the likes of Dan Hurley, who's throwing himself into that conversation right now, especially if they three-peat.
For real,
he's going to
be Billy Donovan at Florida when he went back.
Billy Donovan had a dominant this would actually be a good little segment. We might have to type this up and think about it. But yeah, I think Bill Self's definitely up there. But you got like the Patinos and Izzos and Coach K's of the world up there for sure. So
Izzo, we haven't even talked about him.
Exactly. Every year he has his team in the tournament and playing well in the tournament somehow, some way. But obviously doing well. And then lastly for the Champions Classic, we had probably the game of the night, with both teams being ranked coming into this. Duke, I think, being 6th, Kentucky being 19th. Kentucky coming away with a huge win. Obviously everyone tuning in to see Mark Pope, kind of take the mantle at Kentucky and get a huge win versus Duke, but more people tuned in to watch Cooper Flagg play. Obviously, the freshman phenom who's going number 1 in the draft this coming draft. For sure.
I'm pretty high on him.
I'm
a casual, but I know enough to know that Cooper Flagg is insanely good.
Insanely good. Obviously, had a huge game. Again, I don't have the stats in front of me. I should pull those up, but I wanted to get your take on this. Obviously, he had a really, really good game, but the last 2 possessions kind of to seal their fates and lose the game. He turns the ball over twice and is out rebounded by a short. It was like Kentucky's point guard rebounded it over top of him to kind of seal the game. So I don't know what your thoughts were on Flagg or the game overall, but yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch this game quite as much as the other one, but overall, I think Flagg had a pretty good game. The last 2 possessions, honestly, I don't really put too much into it. It's still really early on in the season. He's still a freshman. He was playing with Team USA this past summer and doing really well there, but you can't beat experience. I'm not really sure about getting out rebounded from against a point guard. I mean, that's gonna happen sometimes, but I wouldn't put too much into that. Like he'll learn as the season goes on. Better to make those mistakes in November rather than February. So
Facts.
We'll kind of see how he's able to rebound. And Kentucky aren't like, they're not a scrub team either. Like it's not, it's a good team that they're playing against. So I'll take the mistakes against those guys and early on in the season rather than later, as long as he learns and does better next time. So
absolutely. Yeah, so those are kind of the two bigger games of the week.
do you have a little spot in your heart for this year's Kentucky with Pope over there, and don't they have Jackson Robinson? They
They
have
do.
our boy Brandon Garrison from Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I
No,
like watching him.
I definitely do. I'm definitely watching because of Mark Pope because I really like what he did with BYU last season. Obviously, I watched BYU because of Noah Waterman. But I think Mark Pope coaches the right way, and he's evolved enough to like where he coaches the game how it should be coached now, just with the different analytics and the three ball. So I definitely tuned in one because I mean it's Kentucky versus Duke, like huge game,
Yeah,
both ranked.
blue bloods.
New coach for Kentucky, new roster, and then obviously I mean casual or deep rooted fan, you're watching Cooper Flagg because he is, as they call him, the main event. So yeah, definitely watching because of Pope, but I tuned in for multiple reasons. But cool to see him get a big win and kind of show that like, he can coach basketball. Like some people were like, yeah, he wasn't even their first, second, third choice, but some are saying that like it kind of worked out. He's like the best choice. Loves Kentucky, can coach, can recruit. Um, just a good all around guy. So yeah, definitely rooting for him this season for sure. We're gonna quickly touch on just a little cool news coming out of upstate New York. Carmelo Anthony's son. We look this up? Keon?
Sure.
Kaya? We didn't look this up. We definitely
Keon,
talked about
Keon.
Keon.
I don't know,
Keon
man.
sounds more right. I don't know.
It's
But
on you
Carmelo's
this
son's
time.
Keon Anthony commits to Syracuse, going back to his daddy's alma mater. Obviously, one and done. Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse, winning that chip, and then going to the league and taking that by storm. But kind of a feel good. Like to see it stay in the family. Obviously, Syracuse. We are undefeated, but currently not doing super well. Not losing, winning by 2 against Colgate, and then pulling it out of the fire against Lemoyne in the opener. So I don't know, not too high on my orange right now. But what do you think about this? Kind of cool to see, son following his father's footsteps.
Yeah, that is super cool. He's only a 4-star, which I thought, not that obviously 4 stars aren't scrubs or anything, but it seems like all
Right.
these sons of big time NBA guys are all 5 stars and they're gonna go number one, blah blah blah. But yeah, cool story, like you said. It's cool to see. Like obviously we've talked about this before, I think, but Syracuse isn't like the most attractive place to go when you're not thinking about basketball, like just weather wise, and it's just not a ton of tradition in other sports and stuff. So it's cool that despite that, he still wants to follow in his father's footsteps and go probably lead a Syracuse team. I'm assuming he'll probably be one of the better players you guys
Oh, for
have
sure.
next year or two for sure. I don't know what y'all's season's looking like this year. It sounds like y'all are struggling against subpar teams, but yeah,
Definitely.
it'll be cool to see him in a Syracuse uniform for sure. Maybe Melo pulling up to a couple Syracuse games in the Carrier Dome now. So it'll be
Absolutely.
cool to. I love stories like that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're gonna round off this segment, the basketball segment, just really quickly with some NBA news, just some stuff we wanted to touch on. Just very quickly, saw this on my phone as we were doing the podcast, so I'd throw it in because it's just insane. LeBron with his fourth straight triple double in year 22, kind of wild, kind of after he was just quoted saying he doesn't have too much left, a year or two left. He's not going to play until the wheels fall off, but it doesn't look like the wheels are about to fall off anytime soon.
he
Just
passes
quickly, what,
himself from 2019.
dude? When you're just that good, you're breaking your own records in at like what is he 43? He's 40
No,
plus,
he's
right?
not 43. He's like
He's
39.
40, right?
No, he's not 40 yet. He'll be 40 in
Okay.
December.
Oh, so just like Ronaldo.
Something
Think they retire on the same day? Brady should have kept going, man. Just all the 40-year-old club.
Brady's a 45-year-old out there playing a contact sport. It's insane. But
that is insane. But just wanted to quickly touch on that. Like, again, I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but I can appreciate like greatness when I see it, and that's just unheard of anywhere. Just playing at that level in year 22 at close to 40 years old, nuts. The biggest news to come out of the NBA this past week, though, Klay Thompson makes his return to Golden State. Warm welcome by the staff and the fans. They all got cool little Klay Thompson captain's hats, kind of a good nod or a cool nod to Klay Thompson.
I didn't get that. What's the deal with that?
The captain's Do you not follow him? Do you not? I guess you don't follow him as closely. I guess you're not quite. Yeah, because you're not quite a Golden State fan, are you?
No. I don't like Golden State.
Well, that's why.
Either.
All right, well, let me enlighten you. No, when he lived in the Bay, he loves boating, and he would actually.
I have seen videos of him boating.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah, he boats to the game. Like, he talks a lot about. He loves boating. And he would boat to the games. Like, he had a dock right next to the. Gotcha. I mean, obviously not right next to the arena, but like he would boat from his house.
I thought it was dope that all those people had captain's hats on. I knew it was for Klay, but I didn't get the correlation. But that's cool.
Yeah, so that's why they had it. But obviously his night was spoiled with a late flurry by Stephen Curry, who was kind of, as you said, a little animated. Had a little bit. This game was a little special to him, I guess you could say.
He seemed a little salty that his boy left town for sure. So I saw
Not really Klay's fault, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why would he be mad? It sounds like Golden State didn't really want him, and he was
doing better without him.
Yeah, exactly. But I saw one thing, reel that after Klay or Steph had hit one of the shots, it was like it zoomed into Klay. Obviously, like all the shots did that game. But it was like Klay finally figuring out what it's like to be on the other side of a Curry flurry.
Dude, it's probably not fun at all because they were up by like 7 with like 4 minutes to go or something like that. It's just the cup though. Who gives a crap about that?
Yeah.
Except for the paycheck at the end.
Except for the Lakers, they think it's the NBA championship.
Except for the Lakers. Yeah, but a cool little, I guess you could say, feel good story. Klay returning. A little bit of bad blood, but I think it's all swept under the rug at this point. Kind of weird seeing him in a Mavs uni, but I think it worked out for both parties. So
wearing 31, right? Is that what he's wearing?
31? I think I don't know. No idea.
Not 11. I can tell you that much. That's weird to think about. But anyways,
absolutely. But I think that's a pod, Sammy.
It is a pod.
Alrighty. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Go like and follow and subscribe on all our platforms, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, peace.